What's good, everybody? It's your favorite scientist, MARC.MADE. I am a rapper, a scientist, a game creator, and I'm here to answer y'all questions.
How did you come up with the idea for Icebreaker, and what made you want to get into board games?
Got you. So Icebreaker is actually the second game I ever created. The first one is CHOOSIN. It's like Ring of Fire and Truth or Dare mix. You put the cards in a circle. You grab a card. It's gonna have a task on it, and it's gonna tell you where to do the task. You can either choose to do that task on that individual or choose to do whatever you want to whatever individual. If you don't do it and you get caught not doing it, you have to drink. From that, I realized, okay, because that game is more kinky, I wanted something that was more public because kinky stuff can be private. You know, people don't always feel comfortable. And I stumbled on Icebreaker. The cool thing about CHOOSIN is that it also had little mini games inside the game. And I realized those were the games that people gravitated to outside of like the free dares, you know. So Icebreaker, I realized, okay, I want something that everyone can play everywhere. And the goal I wanted was to get people socializing. Just like with CHOOSIN, to get people interacting, I wanted Icebreaker to get people to socialize. So I used those mini games, ended up creating more mini games, and eventually I realized it couldn't be a card game. So I tried my hardest at making it a board game, and here we are.
How long ago did you get your first full copy of Icebreaker? How long has the journey been?
So the official journey for Icebreaker, the actual hard copy of the game, I got my first one in November of 2022. I actually created an AR version of Icebreaker back before it had just the R, because it's ICEBREAKR. Back then, it was ICEBREAKER, like regular Icebreaker. And it was an AR game. That was in the end of, that was like November 2021. So it was a year from Icebreaker to Icebreaker where I got the full hard copy. And then by the time I started selling it, it was like mid-February. And here we are in April, 2 months later, and I'm on phase 2 of Icebreaker. So we're trying to get into more stores. It has new games. It has just an overall more HD look and aesthetic to it. It's popping.
So what's one goal going into the rest of this year, and especially going into the summer? What are you looking to achieve?
Man, going into the summer and just overall for this year, I want to get this game into stores, like major stores, monopolized stores, whether that be Hot Topic, Target, Spencer's, even cruise lines or Walmart, like Carnival Cruise, JetBlue, get it onto college campuses. I think it could flourish on college campuses because people are always inside the dorms looking for games, looking to have fun. And like I said, the goal is to socialize. It'd be ideal to have it in hookah lounges and clubs, but you know the music can be loud there, so you can't really listen. But the goal, get it in the stores, get it in the cruise lines, get it in the colleges, and let it do its thing.
Playing the game, what are your top 3 favorite spots to land on?
That's a good question. You sure, bro?
Yeah.
My top 3 mini games. Yeah, that's a tough one. It's a lot of good ones. One that's always funny and quick. I love playing Medusa. Medusa's where you look down, count to 3, and then you have to look up at another player. It's just always funny to see who's looking at you. Probably on the social side of things, I like I'll drink to that just because everyone has an opinion about something. It can be as small as what type of chicken do you like, or do you even like meats versus vegans and stuff, or it could be something more controversial like, I don't know, politics or religion. So you really get to see who agrees with your mindset. And lastly, just an overall game, man. Alphagories. Alphagories is hilarious because I feel like categories is cool. You know, it's just Alphagories is basically categories in alphabetical order. So categories is real cool, but as you play the game more and play just games in general more, you know a lot of different topics. You know, if you say animals, it can go on forever. If you say colors, it can go on forever. But when you put a restriction of putting them in alphabetical order and saying things in alphabetical order, it's funny, when you put people on the spot and they can't come up with certain names. So Alphagories, Medusa, and I'll drink to that, my top 3.
So I see that you got another brand up here with you. Can you tell me about that and what your relationship is with them?
Yes. So this is Monaco, Monaco Cocktails. Drink Monaco on IG. It's good. How we came across them is actually my girlfriend, shout out, it's Sydney Gray. She has been a brand ambassador working with them for a couple years now, and I've even worked with them 1 or 2 times. Very good cocktail, very good. 2 shots in every can. Gluten-free, as you can see on the box here. But very good. It tastes good. It doesn't really give you that hangover or anything. And it gets you to that spot. So how we came across them, they do a lot of festivals and a lot of events. And ICEBREAKR is like something that gets you socializing. It keeps people around and drinking and just overall having a good time. So we presented ICEBREAKR to one of her managers that she was doing brand ambassading with a couple weeks ago. And they said, well, let's give it a try. Maybe we can give you some samples. You can play the game with people, and maybe you can pitch both ICEBREAKR and Monaco. So that's what we're doing now. We are literally taking ICEBREAKR to pop-ups, playing the games with people when they lose the game, as long as they're above the age 21 up. They can have a sample of Monaco. They get to taste how great it is, and then they can go to the local liquor store and pick it up.
Going through college, like, how many years did it take you to go, like, from the beginning to the end of college to get your
Sheesh. So I got my undergrad was from 2009 to 2013. I went to Kennesaw State University in basically Atlanta, Georgia. Or at the time when I went, it was called Southern Polytechnic State University. So shout out Spoosu. It was picked up by Kennesaw State University. And then from 2014 to 2020, I was at Florida International University in Miami, Florida, under the Bridge to the Doctorate fellowships and McKnight Fellowship and GEM Fellowship. And yeah, it was a lot of fellowships. And yeah, I was doing my master's and doctorates in mechanical engineering. I also did mechanical engineering at Kennesaw State University. So overall, sheesh, it was like an on and off decade, on and off, because I wasn't going the whole time. Like there was like an 8-month period between undergrad and grad school that I wasn't in school. There was like another 8-month period between masters and doctorates where it was like I wasn't really in school. So almost 2 years off, and it was like 10 and a half years. So yeah, almost a decade. That's a long time in school.
So as you were going through school, like, was like a board game or something that you had in mind, or is it just something that you come up with?
So in my undergrad, CHOOSIN was made because I wanted to give my homies a better first impression. We used to invite people over, have little house parties and stuff. This was in Atlanta, and it went well. Instead of playing like Truth or Dare, Ring of Fire, and all that stuff, I made CHOOSIN, and we was able to play that and make our own rules and games. So that just kind of stumbled upon that. So how ICEBREAKR came about, when I finished my doctorate degree and moved to Boston to go work, I wanted a better way of rebranding CHOOSIN. When I rebranded CHOOSIN, I realized, what if I can take it from private to public? And I came across ICEBREAKR. So ICEBREAKR was after I graduated with the doctorates, but CHOOSIN was while I was in my undergrad.
Okay, so it's something that you've had your mind on for a minute, like just a whole board game. So like as a kid, what was your like favorite game to play?
Oh, I played video games. I played video games and sports when I was a kid. I did like put things together, like toys and stuff, because I like to like build things and all that stuff. But I didn't really play I played card games. You know what I'm saying? We played spades, we played Tonk, we played blackjack. Of course, the other games like Uno and Monopoly and stuff. But we played like regular cards in Atlanta and stuff all the time. Even in Detroit, I was born in Detroit, raised in Atlanta. Like it was mainly cards. And then from those, we played the little fancier games like the Monopolies and Hungry Hungry Hippos and I don't know, Battleship, you name it.
So, what's your experience outside of like board games and stuff? Have you ever thought to like maybe design something and like come out with like your own product? And like,
Oh, as in like a actual like technology.
yeah,
Oh, absolutely. That shit is a lot harder, a lot harder than people get. Is this the real interview?
it can be.
Oh no, we just going. Okay, yeah. But because I would simplify my answers if it was the real interview. But being as just us. No, I have. I definitely got like a book, an idea book of like different things I wanted to do. Specifically, I wanted it around um like biofuels and electric charging because that's what I did my dissertation in. I did my dissertation in lithium oxygen batteries. So I want something that's revolving around like the energy sector, you know what I'm saying? Because it's more scalable. But have I tried? There's one thing that I did try. It was a movable, I guess, a movable fashion. So basically designs that can move on your clothes. So it can change colors and all this stuff. So say if you just had I don't know, a white tee with or it was movable logo. So a white tee that could had like a digital print on it. And I came up with this back in like 2008. It just, I couldn't get the digital print to work. But basically, say if you had a team on your jersey and I don't know, you had a favorite player, the logo and the team can change. So all you needed was the T and it would change and manipulate based on whatever you wanted. And it could be anything, you know what I'm saying? So it's just something that could be washable while also digital and not necessarily like affect your body because the electrical currents and shit. They ended up coming out with something like that for like hats and shit, but like it's like a technology that's not like perfected or something. But that was one thing that I actually tried to get out. I tried to do uh, concussion-proof helmets for football. Um, got pretty far with it, but then like the very like next year, was it Ohio State? Somebody got invested in like $1 million or like $1 billion or something for the NFL since they was having all these concussions. And I was like, oh shit, if they just funded them, I can't compete with that with, you know what I'm saying, the little college money I had at the time. So yeah, just a bunch of different random things. Nothing major though. That would be cool. That's the goal. To instead of making something like a board game, make something that's more digital. I wanted, actually, it was funny, before this even came out, I wanted it to be a game where it was like, what's that game where you like kind of hit the button? One of those types of games where you hit the button, but inside the button is like every game that's in this. So then instead of having a full board, it's just a button, it shuffles it, you hit it, boop, it tells you like what the game is, you just play, you know, so something more technological. But yeah.
so is it like a team environment that you work in that you guys are all like sitting there like designing things? Or?
Everyone has different tasks. So I'm a mechanical engineer. I mainly work with like design and like analyses. Yeah, and they might be electrical or computer, you know what I'm saying? So in their electrical, they might be testing, looking at different frequencies and I don't know, the power that goes into it. Whereas we also do similar things, but more than likely it's a full team of people. So normally I've been on projects anywhere from 3 people to 10 plus. You know what I'm saying? My day to day is mainly like running analyses and designing stuff. So coming up with something from scratch that the electrical team will be able to actually perform, or not perform, but to run an experiment on the actual idea, so then they can test to see how good it is, the performance of it. So let's say if I made let's say for the satellite, I created a holster that can hold the satellite and also allow you to scale it and put other satellites together with it. So now you can test that individual satellite and multiple at the same time. Then they run the experiment, see if it works, how they designed it. If not, we make modifications, send it back. 3D printed, all this stuff. So, solutions and services that like better the world. So we work from everything with the Department of Defense to, of course, like your armed forces, armies, navies, marines, and stuff. But we also work with like healthcare and like companies that work for governments. I've done everything from wireless unmanned aerial systems to satellites that are the size of loaves of bread to batteries that go into they're like this charging system that armed forces carry or future soldiers, should I say. I'm working currently on the upcoming F-35 jet. All sorts of stuff. Building little 3D parts that can go together and that's like super small. So even though I've worked on the satellites that can that's like the size of a loaf of bread and they can transform, even satellites that are like the size of like a few inches. You know what I'm saying? So it's all sorts of stuff that's ultimately to push humanity in a more positive way. So we don't work on like munitions. We might work like say if there was like a missile, we wouldn't work on the warhead of the missile, something that can kill people. We would work on like the battery that is being used by it, but it's not necessary for that alone. You know what I'm saying? So it could be a pretty much generic battery that we're working on that can push that dynamic, but they just manipulate it for something like a warhead. No, and it's just a bunch of different things.
Gotcha.
Yeah, when COVID first happened, we was helping work with the N95 mask that they ended up using. Different little vaccines and other, we've worked with Navy, specifically like the SEALs and their radios, building compartments for Marines that can standardize their Humvees and stuff, like putting together compartments and stuff. Yeah, and that's just the projects I've worked on. You know what I'm saying? They got hundreds of other projects they go on.
Lately, you've started to like grow a team around you and like create partnerships. Can you say like how important that is for like any business just to have a team around you, surround like to like delegate tasks and
Yeah,
how does that experience go?
having a team around you is crucial because everyone has their own skill sets and own, their catalysts in their own right. They know how to do things in a way that you might not be able to even think about. So it's hard to like as an individual, it's hard to delegate tasks if you do everything. That's normally what I was doing. So having a team, people got different skills, things they can add to the equation to overall optimize the performance of whatever brand, as long as everybody has the same goal. It's been good so far, like, working with you guys, TMC. The Midnight Collective has been able to get ICEBREAKR in the stores. While they're doing that thing, the marketing thing, I was able to do my own individual thing of getting onto like national TV with Let's Make a Deal, using my girl to get the partnership with Monaco. Just overall, just trying to build and expand where everyone has their own accolades. So it works out. If you want to expand further, if you want to go farther, go together. What up, though? It's your favorite scientist, MARC.MADE, talking about ICEBREAKR, Monaco, and myself. And this is the Midnight Collective, I was about to say podcast, but the Midnight Collective interview. And yay, hope y'all enjoy.